2025 USL Championship Final is concluded, and 3 words: unleash the Hounds. Welcome to All Talk, All USL Talk. USL got the latest scores, news, and developments in the second highest division of the United States men's professional soccer system, the USL Championship. I am your host, as always, Vince Galvano. Happy Sunday. That's right, releasing this episode while I'm recording this episode on a Sunday. We want that audio, and we want it right now because we are fresh, not even 24 hours separated from the conclusion of this sensational, upside down, topsy-turvy season that we call the USL Championship. But hey, if you're listening on a Monday, keep it up with your routine. Would love just to keep going, right? Guys, gals, we have made it. It is now concluded. Pittsburgh Riverhounds are your 2025 USL champions for the first time in 26 years. Bingo Bango was his name-o. It was a stalemate. It was lockdown D. It was Eric Dick rising to the occasion. Back and forth at certain times, but they went the distance in front of a sold-out crowd at ONEOK Field. We're going to break it all down for you in the next half an hour or so as we wrap up on the final episode of Season 2 of Talk USL. It's been a great season so far, and still one more to get done and dusted here. We're going to talk, obviously, and recap all the way through what had transpired in Oklahoma yesterday to, arrive at the point of Pittsburgh raising the coveted championship over their shoulders. We'll also talk, we have all the awards from the end of season. We talked about the finalists last time around. Now we have the awards chosen. We have winners to announce: Young Player of the Year Award, Player of the Season Award, Coach of the Year Award, Defender of the Year Award, Goalkeeper of the Year Award. The list goes on and on. We also have 2 coaching changes to already mention: Colorado and Oakland. Who have they went to appoint as head coaches? So much that and more, but we have made it. We have been around for a bit. This is episode 76. I can't believe it's 2 seasons in the books, and obviously next season we'll talk at the end as well. My plans, keep this thing rolling, but if it's your first time listening to the show, or if you've been listening to the show, don't forget to reach out to me at talkuslchampionship@gmail.com. I'm everywhere on social media at TalkUSL. We are everywhere where podcasts are available. So if you haven't gone and rated us on your preferred listening platform, make sure to do so, whether it's 1-star, 2-star, 3-star, 4-star, 5-star. It's just that your review counts. And I really appreciate it, as always, for taking the time to listen, and hope you have all been enjoying the audio a little bit, some tokens of audio waves to keep us occupied in these weeks in between games. Just a big thanks, as always, for listening. So let's break this down. Let's talk about this game that had taken place yesterday. I was watching here in Central Europe, 6 p.m., had the chicken noodle soup ready. Girlfriend wasn't feeling that well, so obviously had to go with the staple there. Had the game on, 6 p.m. over here. 12 p.m. Eastern. It was 9 a.m. in I think it was maybe 10 a.m. in Tulsa. So it is Central Time. I believe that is 2 hours behind, 1 hour behind New York. Okay. 11:15 a.m. kickoff over there. Very good to know. Yeah, it's just crazy how many time zones the United States have. Anyway, I digress. Let's talk about this game and talk about how these 2 teams have arrived to this location in ONEOK Field. Tulsa, as we know, were the first seed. They took down Colorado, they took down Phoenix Rising, and they took down New Mexico to claim the Western Conference Championship. Mexico was the 3rd seed. For Pittsburgh, on the other hand, they had not forecasted what they had anticipated, I should say, considering that it was Detroit instead of Lou City they took on after taking down Hartford in the quarterfinals of the Eastern Conference semifinals. They took down Detroit. Then in the finals, they take down Rhode Island. It wasn't Charleston. It was Rhode Island who had taken down Charleston at first, then North Carolina. Boom. They take down Rhode Island and they find themselves in the championship with their squad. Robbie Mertz was the main man leading up to getting here with his goal against Rhode Island. He was obviously the player to watch on behalf of Pittsburgh, and they were shouted out. Also showcased a little bit of a pre-match interview in the locker room with him, saying that essentially he's got to keep doing the same things with confidence that we've been doing, and hopefully the result will come our way. We'll talk about starting lineups. I mean, I was watching this on YouTube here in Europe because I'm able to. Meanwhile, in the States, it was on CBS national television. One of the third nationally televised game this season. Second year in a row that it is on CBS, which is great exposure. I got to see if we can get those numbers too as well. But hey, Eric Dick in between the pipes, a back three, albeit more back five. It was Eto on the left side, Biazzi in the middle, Sean Suber, Roberto Idrach, and Perrin Parnes on the right side. Midfield two staple, Bradley Sample, Daniel Griffin, and a front three, you could say, of Charles All, Robbie Mertz, and Augie Williams. That was how they had went out in this one. Meanwhile, for FC Tulsa, Tyler Derrick in between the pipes. He was shouted out many times throughout the coverage of Mike Watts and Devin Kerr. The fact that the goalkeeper was signed as an emergency replacement goalkeeper in September and then had all clean sheets pretty much going into this one, which was crazy. Then in the back four, it was a 4-3-3. Lucas Stauffer on the right side, the captain. Center backs were Lamar Batista and Ian. Trevion Sousa, the left back. Midfield three of Jamie Weber, Delance Pierre, and Giordano Colli. Front three, left side, Khalil El-Medkar. Right side, Alex Delou. And then up top, the main man who was leading at this point most goals in the playoffs with two, Taylor Calhera, the number 9 for FC Tulsa. We should talk a little bit about Delance Pierre as well, because lots of the times, especially in the formation of FC Tulsa, he'd really just drop in more as a center back, allowing Stauffer and Sousa to push up the field respectively to create the overload. So, I mean, albeit in the midfield, large parts also quite connected to Batista and Ian in part of that back line. They were also featured a little bit of the coaches as well. Rob Vincent saying nothing to lose, everything to gain in his pre-match locker room speech. 6th straight year, by the way, we will have a first-time title winner. Devin Kerr had put that out as well. You also had Luke Spencer in the locker room talking prior to this one as well, but I can't recall a lot what he said because he just kept emphasizing it with okay. I guess that's an Oklahoma thing to do. Okay, everything's okay in Oklahoma, so just have to keep repeating that. Even my girlfriend picked up on it, and she was like mimicking him a little bit. Okay. But yeah, I mean, hey, everything has been okay in Oklahoma. Beautiful select ball on this one, clean on the first frame, coming out as the match official for this one. Eligio Areguion. All right, Region, I think. How to pronounce the last name, not so great with it. But yeah, he had given out plenty of yellow cards throughout the course of the season so far. Only one, just say 3 red cards. 1 red card in the Monterey Bay Oakland Roots game back in March, and then double yellows in Indy 11 Detroit City back in May, as well as in June, double yellows for Sacramento and then Tulsa as well. This was his only playoff match, but he's been around quite some time. Has done 113 matches in the USL Championship across his career as a referee. So this one being his 113th. Robbie Mertz was a shout-out player for Pittsburgh. Meanwhile, it was Taylor Calhera for FC Tulsa in terms of players to watch. But hey, what was great that both teams came out. Flames were going on. I wish I could have seen a little bit of the pre-match stuff, but it always gets cut away by commercials. Or in terms of the YouTube, just wait, we'll be right back with the coverage. But as we came back to the coverage, both teams were in the huddle, and we got ourselves kicked off. In this one, I think it was very much a final ambiance, final type of soccer. More waiting for the moment, more teams feeling each other out, more players playing safe not to make a mistake. which is kind of what you can expect. Both teams started feeling each other out plenty with just kind of going long, 1 or 2, 3 passes, a lot. I mean, in terms of player who was on the ball the most, I think Lukas Stauffer had probably the most touches in the opening couple minutes. But I mean, same kind of thing. He would pick his head up and just hoof it down the line or try to find a forward long in between the back lines. And then, Tulsa almost wins really on the press. I had made a prediction going into this one that, hey, Pittsburgh would have a lot of the ball maybe in the opening moments, and Tulsa would press. But what had happened was Pittsburgh really kind of let Tulsa have the ball, kept a mid-press going on, because I think they knew after seeing what had happened to New Mexico, we don't want to have the ball too much in the back line because this team presses so well. So they opted to say, hey, we'll keep a mid-press going, but it's going to take us a while to really get touches on the ball. And that's kind of what had transpired. Tulsa did almost kind of scare Pittsburgh with a center back under the trap in the 6th minute, but to no avail. And then I think what had happened really in the opening 10 minutes besides was just kind of Batista's long throw-ins looking like they were going to be effective. We saw a lot of that in the conference finals for Tulsa side of things, right? Capitalizing on these long throw-ins, but Pittsburgh were well prepared for this early on. And then in the 13th minute, we had kind of really what was the best chance of the game so far, an early driven cross from Pittsburgh that zipped across the face of the goal and skimmed the post, which was crazy. Early chance from Pittsburgh. It was absolutely insane. It was Sample who had it. I think it was a line drive for sure. And then Pittsburgh started to take the game appropriately. They slowed things down. They were feigning some injuries. They were winning fouls and taking their time just to deflate, just to get used to the environment of ONEOK Field. I mean, capacity crowd, 83 United in full effect. Drums, horns, the whole nine. So a lot of anticipation and a lot of excitement around the pitch. In the 60-minute, Weber does a great job with the steal, then drags it to lay off Delo at the top of the box. He cuts across it with his shot, but it sails wide. Best chance so far for Tulsa in that 60-minute. Weber doing a great job to pick up that ball, keep his composure, and lay off Delu, who was just quite active in this one. Shout out to Alex Delu and Khalil and Medkar because they were making runs around the box nonstop, trying to find those gaps of spaces. And I mean, Lukas Stauffer, Jamie Weber, Sousa trying to find these players in behind. But what you saw was really Tulsa opening up in that back three, Pierce dropping in between, fullbacks pushing high, which we can see a lot in modern day soccer for teams that really try to gain control of the match in numbers and put more forward. But the thing is, you don't gain momentum by fouling. And that's kind of what we had seen. From Tulsa's standpoint, if they had lost the ball in the middle field, or if it was kind of 50-50s, they just opt for the foul. And they would foul Pittsburgh. And the thing is, what's beneficial about that is the fact that, A, you do not let Pittsburgh, a team that is kind of synonymous so far for having more line share of the possession. You saw that against Rhode Island. And also to kind of get into a rhythm, understand the surface, get more touches on the ball, and become more confident. But the thing is, if you don't foul, if you're fouling, you don't allow Pittsburgh to get into the rhythm. You also refrain yourselves from getting into a rhythm because the more stoppages of the game, the more the game is hit and miss, stop and go. That's kind of like the win-loss scenario that you get when you're trying to consistently do as many fouls as you can. 20th minute, Zuber drifts into the half space to win it, plays Taylor Calhera, who throws in a half scissor at the top of the box, but the shot is blocked by Barnes. And this has kind of been something synonymous throughout the entire game. Pittsburgh putting bodies on the line to ensure that the shot does not meet the frame or does not meet the hands of Eric Dick. 22nd minute, Augie Williams curls his runs beautifully, and a great ball is played into him. I believe it was from Griffin. He feigns his movement nicely. Griffin waits. He does a kind of a half. I'm not going to play it. I'm going to wait for it, and then plays that ball so nice into space. Augie Williams on the first time shoots it low and hard across. Derek drops down, makes a fingertip save to push it away and concede the corner as opposed to conceding the goal. Best chance of the game so far for FC Tulsa. But these chances were really, so far in the opening 25 minutes, really half chances. I mean, credit to the likes of Taylor Callahan, credit to the likes of Algie Williams. They can really take half chances and get something on them. But Tyler Derrick himself making a great save there. 24th minute, Barnes wins a strong tackle on the far right side of Calhera. Keeps the ball in play. You should mention that in this one, it was quite interesting to see FC Tulsa wearing all black. Meanwhile, Pittsburgh wearing all white. This has really not been the case in the playoffs so far. But yeah, just something to keep in mind there. After this, Pittsburgh begins stringing more passes together. So it really took until like right before the half-hour mark where Pittsburgh start getting more touches on the ball. I think at this point, the game's quite in its maturity phase, first half-wise. It's gone quite fast already. A lot of car horns, a lot of fog horns being heard around the stadium. Kind of just always in that background, quite consistent. Stauffer pumps up the crowd before a long throw-in on the near side in front of the 83 United, which ends up not being very long and gets cut out at the near post. 27th minute, Ian is down, and Junior Etos drives straight upfield after the header. It was a bad clearance in the 20th minute from Tulsa, which fell short to Robbie Merce. He drives it toward the far side, crosses it, sails over to the opposite side. Junior Eto manages to meet it in the volley, but mishits it badly, and it flies over the bar. So, Pittsburgh picking up a little momentum in the middle of the first half. But in the 30th minute, Tulsa won its first corner. It was not a great corner. Weber takes it, drives it low. It's snuffed out again, similar to the throw-in beforehand from Stauffer. The recycled ball comes back in, but nothing dangerous. Easy to take care of for Eric Dick. In the 32nd minute, Luke Biazzi takes his sweet-ass time on the restarts, then keeps pleading to the assistant referee. This was something that was interesting because, again, Tulsa start to get this momentum, right? And Pittsburgh are going to use every opportunity they can to slow things down. And this was a great example. I mean, he collides with, I think it was DeLoe on a long ball that came towards them. And he's pleading with the referee, taking his time on the ground. Like, you didn't see that? You're not going to call the foul? The camera at this moment cuts to Luke Spencer. And I mean, this camera's right in Luke Spencer's face, and he's shaking his head because of the time. They're taking their time. It's hard to get a little bit of rhythm in this game from Tulsa side. And it's funny, he just motions to the camera. He's like, move, get out of the way. Like, you're right in my face. It was quite comical. But that's kind of the big game scenes, production side of things. You'll have a lot going on. We had beautiful aerial shots of ONEOK Field. It was quite overcast day as well. Some pockets of sun here and there, but mostly cloudy in the midday there. 34th minute, number 12, Charles All opens up nicely to play it into the channel. He draws in Stauffer and then plays it in the channel upside. Eto gets to it, has a battle between him and Ian. He gets there first, draws the contact for a Pittsburgh set piece, but on the set piece, it was a foul on the goalkeeper from Sample. So nothing to come and get, but I mean, you had a lot of set pieces around the box with Pittsburgh in the offensive third. And that's kind of what it was. They really refrained them from getting close to the area just by fouling and opting to go with, hey, we'll defend the set piece. 36th minute, Al collides with Batista, giving Pittsburgh another set piece around the box. This time, though, it's Bradley Sample who gets a great snap of the header at the top of the D, and it's sailing towards the goal. It bounces and just skims the post. Goes out for a goal kick, but if you look at the replay, Tyler Derrick gets a touch on it, but then just proceeds to take the goal kick. So a little bit of using what you can see, but he's like, I don't care about the save. I could get another, I can upgrade my stats game, but hey, I'll just take the goal kick because got to put the team first. Elmedkar and Subor, you can see finding pockets of spaces with their runs behind Pittsburgh's back line. 39th minute. Best chance of the game so far. Batista flicks a header on to Elmedkar, and Eric Dick rises to make a point-blank save on the header inside the 6. The 2024 goalkeeper of the year showing up big, albeit I think it was arguably the best chance of the game and obviously the highlight moment of the match. It was a tremendous save. Reminded me of Buffon's save on Zidane in the 2006 World Cup final, albeit from a much closer range. I mean, this one hit the side of his palm. It's not like he got fingers on it, just more so he got a little bit of a hand to deflect it over for the the corner kick. Great save. 43rd minute, All does a great job to keep it 50-50 alive, then makes an overlapping run for Barnes, whose cross is blocked. The ball is headed out to Griffin, who attempts on the corner kick, gets headed out to the top of the box. Griffin attempts an overhead kick that loops and drops perfectly for Augie Williams inside the 6. Augie Williams takes a cyclone volley, just kind of really comes around it one time, pulls it too far right, and it goes wide of the post. I mean, Derek was standing there watching it out, but nothing the keeper could have done had that thing been on frame. Great chance for Phoenix, arguably the best chance for Phoenix in that game. And highlight of the half is the Eric Dick save. We go into the second half 0-0. Right before we start the second half, Maxwell Murray wins the Hometown Hero Award. A little bit of a feature stories that were going out in and around the league of hometown heroes who do the best for soccer in their community. He received a check for $12,500 for empowering Detroit's youth with the power of soccer. That was great to see. Marion Crowder, who was the on-field reporter in this one, talked a little about just a bit of takeaways from the first half going into the second half. Out of the two teams, she had said Pittsburgh were satisfied with their first half performance, and the idea in this one was to get all more involved to influence the game. That's kind of what was being shouted out from Pittsburgh's side of the thing. And in the 56th minute, nothing really happening up until this point. It was kind of a dull start to the second half, kind of both teams coming out again, not wanting to make a mistake. They're saying, hey, we'll just take our time here. We'll again get used to the environment of the final, because now, I mean, time is dwindling as we are in the second half. 56 minutes, shots from the crowd to get Batista more involved in the action. I think that was also kind of what was being discussed at halftime from Tulsa side of point. Have Lamar Batista come up the field a bit more, get involved into the play. But again, it's always like damned if you do, damned if you don't, because you don't want to risk getting exposed from the back. If I push up, then in a counter, I'm not there. Augie Williams will be, instead of taking on two center backs, one center back. So I totally get that aspect of it. First yellow card of the game goes to DeLoe on Tulsa. He committed the same foul earlier in a Biazzi-DeLoe matchup, and I think that was it. So he had the first yellow card. What was crazy is like the fact that we're getting towards this hour mark and a number got thrown around. It's been a combined at the hour mark of this one. A combined 1,119 minutes between the two teams without conceding entering this match. Both teams with full clean sheets going into the final, which is crazy to see. 62nd minute broadcast flashes back to Spencer scoring in the 2018 final. Luke Spencer, when he played for Lou City back in the day. They talk about how only one player who turned coach, had won the USL Championship both as a player and a coach. So Luke Spencer on the verge of history, becoming the second person to do so if Tulsa come through it with this one. 67-minute fan giving a very clear middle finger to the camera from Pittsburgh's side of things, the traveling Pittsburgh fans of the Steel Army. About 50 members of the Steel Army making the trip to Tulsa on a Greyhound bus, from what I had understood in Devin Kerr's coverage of the game. But yeah, tremendous dedication for those Pittsburgh fans making the trip to Tulsa, spending their time, their hard-earned cash to support their team. 68-minute frustration grows. Ian decides to hip check all. He'll get a yellow card for that. Substitutions then finally come in the 70 minutes. 2 for Tulsa. Stefan Lukic replacing Khalil Ahmedkar, and Owen Dam replacing DeLoe. Lukic finally enters. It was kind of what was being anticipated as a giant roar he was greeted with from the crowd. Sousa receives the ball, tries to play Lukic in immediately. Lukic gets there first, but it sails far and is recycled back across. 3 Pittsburgh bodies, Griffin, Mertz, and Sample, all hit the floor in the moment to ensure a block, which was crazy. Weber is booked for a foul on the far sideline, bringing down a toe in the 74th minute. And the 76th minute, Colley's shot from the top of the box takes a slight deflection for a corner kick. On the ensuing corner, Eric Dick, who had been excellent all match with high claims, misjudges it. It was actually one of the best corners so far from Tulsa in the 77th minute. They crowded the box, crowded the six. Ball came in. It was difficult to defend. Dick fumbles it off the chest, reaches for it midair, misses it, and it meets the foot of a Tulsa player as the ball pops just over the bar. Eliel Reguilon was involved in the chaos, following the corner and so forth because of the yellow cards that were being handed to Tulsa players throughout the match, because it's been 3 up to this point and none for Pittsburgh players. So ref used suck chance and echoed around ONEOK Field after 2 goals go in Pittsburgh's favor deep into their own half. Now, the 79th minute, Batista takes a touch nicely past All. All pulls him down. Batista furious that no yellow is issued. And honestly, he had a point. I thought that should have been a yellow card all day, Charles All. Instead, no yellow card. He's pleading with the linesman. He's pleading with the match official. Even Luke Spencer is quite heated on the touchline there. Substitution comes for Pittsburgh. Ozumano comes out. Walty comes in. Actually pronounced Velti. Looking at him, he's Swiss-born, which is pretty cool to see. Come on as Biazzi and Biazzi and Sample leave, while Ozumano and Velti come on the field. Biazzi had only missed 1 game all season, so tremendous participation rate from his side of things. 85th minute, the game opens up with some back and forth play as much as it can. Mertz gets tackled cleanly in the corner as these teams are going back and forth between each other on a counterattack. It was really good defending from Tulsa's side of things. 89th minute substitution for Pittsburgh. Chase Boone comes on to replace Charles All. 3 minutes of stoppage time doesn't do much as 0-0 inevitable. 4th time in 14 championship finals that we're going to extra time. The final stats in this one for the 90 minutes that were played: 51% in favor possession-wise of Tulsa, 49% for the visitors Pittsburgh. In this one, only 8 total shots and only 1 shot on target, which was the header, believe it or not, from El Medkar. Craziness. But, I mean, hey, it was a stalemate as much as stalemates go. Touches in the opposition box for Tulsa, 14 compared to only 3 from Pittsburgh. You have 3 yellow cards in this one, all in favor of Tulsa. But that's how things were in the 90 minutes. Extra time first half, some more substitutions coming from Tulsa's side of things. Harvey St. Clair replaces Lucas Stauffer. Sissoko replaces Travian Sousa. Dons the captain's armband as well. 92nd minute of, first half of stoppage time, or I should say extra time. You see now that Tulsa are preferring to get this championship gold sooner rather than later. They're rushing the tempo to start off. They're trying to say, hey, we can put Pittsburgh on our heels here. They found success down the left side with a cross that swung by everyone. Owen Dam carries by All and then dribbles in the midfield against Griffin, who pulls him down to earn the first yellow card for Pittsburgh in the 93rd minute. ONEOK Field erupts in support. Finally, Pittsburgh get a yellow card. And it was a really nice play from Owen Dam, really to carry it by everyone. Griffin trying to pull him down there to stop that counterattack. Nice set piece to win a corner with the shot top of the box deflected. They go short, but the ball is cleared out when crossed in from Tulsa. They get cleared out from Pittsburgh. 94th minute, Lukic finds his way on the end of a head, but it gets swatted by Eric Dick, who comes off his line to make a fearless save, putting his body on the line and then gaining the high claim immediately after as the ball is recycled and crossed back in before winning a foul on the high claim. I mean, tremendous stuff from Eric Dick. The second best chance, I'd say, in this one. Khalil Ahmedkar was the first for Tulsa. You can even say that mistake on the corner kick that Dick fumbled, but here he comes out and he makes himself huge. It comes off like his bicep as he's coming out like a full Patrick Starr sort of way. 5 shots in 5 minutes for Tulsa in that opening first half. Pittsburgh unable to build any real momentum with possession only until like the 100th minute of that stoppage time. A counter led to a ball in the 6th from far side, but Walty arrives late, so he has to win an ensuing corner in the process. Mertz's corner lands safely in the hands of Derek. St. Clair plays another ball into the box, being dangerous since coming on as a sub on the left side. That's kind of another thing. But 105th minute and it concludes. Second half, after extra time, Augie Williams comes off In his place comes Burton Jackson. Great spell, success down the right, getting the crowd energized. Ends in a handball by Jamie Weber. That was something that, from Tulsa's side, unfortunate, as they started to build momentum to start the second half of extra time. Fans were still engaged, horns still going on, as well as the drums by the 83 United faithful. 83 United, the Tulsa's long-standing supporting group, stuck with the club through more than a decade of its most difficult season, coaching changes, false restarts, led by president and capo Steve Hitz. The group formed, by the way, in 2014, ironically, as a nonprofit dedicated to not just supporting the team, but to growing soccer in the Tulsa community. So you had sparse crowds, on-field setbacks, but a really nice moment for them to finally see the dream being realized as Tulsa enjoyed its best season ever, packing ONEOK Field, riding a late-game resilience that mirrors the supporters' own persistence. 83 United being named in front of, in honor, I should say, of 1983, the year that the original Tulsa Roughnecks won the NASL Championship, putting Tulsa briefly at the top of American soccer. A chance for them to be briefly again at the top of the American soccer here. As we continue, Weber makes himself up for it after, the handball, winning a crucial tackle on Boone from the counter in the 108th minute. 190th minute, Welty plays the ball early, drops in the 6, and Derek then commits and crashes into Dam, but able to regain possession. Scary moment for Tulsa, and the best chance so far coming off of an early cross that was just a bit sketchy. We're bouncing. But yeah, over 700 minutes without conceding at home this playoff run for FC Tulsa. Tremendous stuff. Dick with another high claim on an early ball from St. Clair. His 8th high claim of the match. Incredible stuff. So far, obviously, the man of the match. 111 minute, Weber comes off for Eamon. But I thought that Weber should have stayed on just to honor his performance. 9 minutes left, 8 minutes left. He was tremendous for Tulsa in this one throughout. But, obviously coming off for certain reasons there. 113-minute waste of a long throw since Batista commits the foul afterwards. And then a couple minutes left, and you could see with 5 minutes to go, they put both cameras, production side, on both goalkeepers. And you can see Eric Dick ready to rock and roll for PKs. On the other side, a much colder Tyler Derrick. 117-minute, Owen Dam connects with Harvey St. Clair on a long early cross, but the push on the back of the Pittsburgh defender meant a foul, albeit the header was safely in the hands of Dick. And yeah, in this one, we're going to PKs. 119th minute was last chance for a long throw-in, but it was cleared out. The early ball back to the box makes its way out to Ian, who nonchalantly curls it over the bar, but has to laugh it off. That was the last chance of this game. And had it been on target, maybe something would have come. It could have been another last-minute winner from Tulsa's side of things. But we go to PKs in front of the A3 United on the far side. We see a little bit. We come back from commercial break. Dick and Derek getting some pointers from the match official. But here we go. Pittsburgh kicked things off on the penalty kick shootout. And it starts with the substitute who just came on for Augie Williams in the second half of extra time, Jackson. He shoots low left. Derek guesses right. He guesses the right way, but it slips underneath him. And Pittsburgh are up in this one, 1-0 on penalties. In the penalty kick shootout, it was a quick shot. He didn't want to be up in that spot for any longer. And it goes to Taylor Calhera, who comes up for Tulsa to respond. He looks nervous, albeit I thought he was going to miss. But instead, he shoots low in center. And Dick guesses to his left. And yeah, that's right. Tulsa equalizes in this one. Up steps Robbie Mertz, the man that took Pittsburgh to the final and capitalized against Rhode Island. It's interesting. He doesn't take too much time. He shoots it mid, left, high, focused, executed. Derek was on it, but does not get to it. It is 2-1 Pittsburgh in the PKs. Then steps up Lukic. The substitute has been, the super sub for Tulsa all season long, especially in the tail end of the season for the Scissor Tails. He steps back 3 times, or I should say twice, 2 big steps, 2 big breaths. Whew. He breathes, he shoots it low, nearly right at the goalkeeper, and Eric Dick drops down and saves it. The big mistake in this one. Just like that, Pittsburgh have a chance to go ahead. And it's Boone. He steps up. Boone makes boom for Pittsburgh. Hits the underside of the crossbar, and it goes in. Again, Derek dives the right way, but no chance of saving this one. It is now 3-1 on penalties, and Tulsa are in trouble. Cauley steps up. The horns are making some weird noises, but does not bother Cauley. He goes left, sends Dick the wrong way. It is 3-2. Pittsburgh now, back to them. Suber bouncing the ball like a basketball. He lasers it to the right in the net. He pushes through with the instep. Derek again guesses the right way, but no chance of getting there. The fourth PK, all converted so far for Pittsburgh. And now the pressure is on Batista. If Batista misses this one, Pittsburgh are your champions. Lamar Batista steps up, sends Dick the wrong way, and keeps Tulsa's hopes alive. And it's all on Edrach. It's all on him for this one. It is nerve-wracking. Here's a chance to win. He doesn't take too much time. He goes right down the middle, sends a diving Derek the wrong way, you could say, but he's going to play it safe, and he scores it. Pittsburgh are your champions. He goes right to the traveling fans in the corner to celebrate. And just like that, Pittsburgh Riverhounds are your 2025 USL champions. A match that was, I think, destined for penalties, but it was a defensive masterclass, really. A lesson in playing things safe and hoping for the best, and standing on the shoulders of the 2024 goalkeeper of the year, Eric Dick. That lived up to its billings. I mean, both teams, it's combined-wise, had not conceded at all. It was going to be stouty. It was going to be stingy. It was going to be cagey. And it had all of it. And, I mean, finals are about moments, and Pittsburgh seized their moment here. The match, it was a tactical stalemate from the opening whistle. Both sides content to observe pressure and rely on their defensive organization. Pittsburgh, true to form, threw bodies on the line throughout the contest, epitomized by the 70th-minute sequence when Griffin, Mertz, and Sample all hit the deck. I've never seen anything like that before to block a Tulsa effort. The Riverhounds' commitment to keeping a clean sheet was unwavering. Players willing to sacrifice their bodies to preserve the deadlock. Eric Dick, without a doubt, the MVP of the match, obviously was being showcased as the MVP from his own teammates on socials from Pittsburgh side of things when he was lifting the trophy. MVP. But the goalkeeper was imperious throughout, registering 8 high claims, making several crucial saves, including that 94th minute stop on Lukic where he came out swatted off his line, that beautiful point-blank save on Khalil Medkar from the header. Tulsa found renewed life through their substitutions. I think some good substitutions here, maybe by Spencer on the night. Owen Dam, Harvey St. Clair brought a lot of life on those wings. Dam was a menace in extra time, carrying it past all in the 93rd minute, drawing the first yellow card from Griffin that sent ONEOK Field into a frenzy. Very good to see. St. Clair equally dangerous down the right flank, consistently creating chances, keeping the crowd energized as well. However, despite, dominating a bit of possession, you could say, registering those 5 shots in the first half of that extra time, Tulsa couldn't find a breakthrough. Their failure to push the tempo earlier in the match, I think, proved costly. By the time they ramped up the intensity, like you could see the light at the end of the tunnel from Pittsburgh's side of things. They knew just we need to buy some more time and this thing will go to penalties, and we're fine with that. And they settled into their defensive shape and were, tough to break down. Penalty shootout, a cruel way to end for the home side. Dick's save on Stefan Lukic's tame effort struck nearly at the keeper, shifted momentum decisively. Both goalkeepers pretty much guessed correctly on multiple occasions. Pittsburgh's composure from the spot, was clinical. Edrach's coolly taking penalty straight down the middle to seal the championship, sending the traveling Steel Army into delirium and leaving Tulsa to rue what might have been. In the end, Pittsburgh's discipline, Dick's heroics, their nerve in the shootout, making that difference in a final that will be remembered for its tension rather than goals. For FC Tulsa, the club's first trip to a final in a 11-season history that will feel like a missed opportunity. After an even first half when it came to chances, the Scissor Tails had far the better of the opportunities over the remaining 75 minutes, and this certainly fair to say. Tulsa ended the game with an expected 1.85 goals to a 0.5 expected goals advantage over their host, only for chances to go begging. Tulsa head coach Luke Spencer saying, just disappointed, more so with the result. I thought our performance was pretty good. Credit to Pittsburgh. They were tough again. They got another shutout, and Dick put a really good performance in. And so they earned it. They deserved it. For us, it's just disappointing. I'm proud of the group that we have. Very proud of the season that we had. It's just disappointing to have this result be the end of it. So a down note for the Sister Tails campaign to end on. Pittsburgh head coach Rob Vincent gave credit to the hosts for the way they were able to keep his side under pressure, but the leaps and bounds the club had made this year can't be wiped away from one result. Another day would have been Tulsa lifting the trophy as the first team to go through a postseason without conceding, a feat that remains remarkable nonetheless. The Sister Tails have now set a marker for what this club wants to be and can build on that next year. I think the standard is that they're going to, from Spencer's side of things, they're going to have a team that gives everything, leaves everything out there, relentless, follows the process that we will follow this season. You know, I don't believe in being result-oriented and setting goals. We have to be back here because what we did this season was take it one game at a time, and that worked out pretty well for us. So that's what we'll do next season as well. Player of the match, obviously, Eric Dick. In this one, Taylor Calhera, Lukic, Stefan Lukic, Albert Dikwa, only 3 players to have multiple goals in the postseason with 2. Goalkeeping-wise, though, most saves, Eric Dick with 15, most clean sheets as well. Tyler Derrick. But hey, props to Pittsburgh for winning the championship in this one. Congratulations, and they are your 2025 USL champions. We'll shift attention to the end of the season awards now, as we'll talk Damian Loss earning the 2025 USL Championship Goalkeeper of the Year. Kyle Adams from Lou City getting voted the 2025 USL Championship Defender of the Year. Danny Cruz was voted 2025 USL Championship Coach of the Year, so congratulations to him. His second consecutive season in which he is the Coach of the Year. Last time that happened was with Adrian Heath of Orlando City Soccer Club back in 2011 and 2012. Bob Lilly had won twice in the past, since 2011 when the USL Championship entered its current sort of campaign and reign. But again, that happened in 2015 with the Rhinos and 2023 with Pittsburgh Riverhounds. So yeah, there you go. I mean, back-to-back, huge accomplishment there. He just completed his 5th season at the helm, leading the side to one of the great regular season campaigns in the USL Championship's 15-season history, becoming, again, the only second coach to win the award in consecutive years. 45% of the ballot voted by club management and the league-wide media panel. It was FC Tulsa's Luke Spencer who finished second, and Hartford Athletics' Brendan Burke who finished third with 7% of the ballot. So there you go there for Coach of the Year. Then 2 more awards to give out, and pretty much all Lou City, but the one award that did not go to Lou City was the Young Player of the Year award. That went to Abdulatif Abukara, the Egyptian-American 21-year-old who recorded 12 goals and 2 assists for United in the regular season, more than doubling his previous single-season high for goals and goal contributions to become Loudoun United, United's first USL Championship All-League selection and award winner in its 7th-season history. He just said about this in terms of the quote award. Thank you to God, my family, the coaching staff, my teammates to Loudoun. They only motivate me to train harder and stay focused on accomplishing both my personal goals and helping the team win trophies. So congratulations. He did also win the Player of the Month award back in March. Was tremendous in the opening part of the season. If you look back last year, it was Elijah Winder for Louisville City who had won it. This time around, Abukara. Winder no longer playing in the USL Championship. We'll see what happens this offseason with Abdulatif Abukara. But for a guy, Winder, we know he signed for the MLS, LA Galaxy. So the transfer fee was the largest received by USL club for a domestic transfer. Broke that record prior to the season. So that's crazy to see. I mean, hey, he's only 22-year-old Elijah Winder. Meanwhile, from Abukara's side of things, you have to understand that he's also quite old, born in 2004, young, I should say. He's 21, the native of Fairfax, Virginia. So we'll see. Will he remain with Loudoun United? That's just TBD. But congratulations for the Young Player of the Year award. And the Player of the Year award goes to none other than Taylor Davila. That's right. The man, the myth, the legend, you can say himself. Taylor Davila winning this year's 2025 USL Championship Player of the Year award. Last season, we know it went to Nick Marcanic, but here this time around, a native of Sherman Oaks, California, Davila's 7+7.15 goals at a mark, ranked first among center midfielders in American Soccer Analyst database, and he burnished his reputation as one of the USL's top talents, while becoming the first central midfielder to claim the award since Orlando City's Jordani Alvarez back in 2011, which is crazy. He was the second Louisville City player to win the award, following Matt Fondy in the 2015 campaign. But saw a record 4 goals, 9 assists, standout numbers as a top two-way midfielder to help earn Lou City's second consecutive Player Shield award. So that was great to see. Won 46% of the ballot. Instead, with 15% of the ballot went to Peter Wilson, finished second, as well as Charleston Battery's Cal Jennings, finished third. So he joins a long list of coveted, very, very, very strong players that have done so in the past, the likes of Leo Fernandez, Albert Dikwa, Haji Berry, Solomon Asante. These are where he goes up with. So congratulations to Taylor Davila for winning Player of the Season. We shift attention then to the 2 coaching changes that were announced on Tuesday this past week. Starting first with Colorado Springs, they announced on Tuesday that they will appoint Alan McCann as the club's new head coach. He continues his time with the Switchbacks, having joined the club back in February of 2021 as a performance and technical analyst, steadily grown within the organization, eventually rising to technical director and assistant coach. He served in both of those roles while part of the staff that guided Colorado Springs to the USL Championship title in 2024. Before joining the Switchbacks, McCann served as a head coach of USL League Two club Reading United, an affiliate of the Philadelphia Union of MLS, in 2018 and 2019. During his tenure, he guided the team to a remarkable 28-3-5 record, back-to-back division and conference titles, and consecutive appearances in the USL League Two final. His success earned him USL League Two Coach of the Year honors in both seasons. From 2018 to 2022, McCann also worked as a scouting director for the USL League Two Scouting Network. So congrats to him. He'll be the new head coach of Colorado Springs. Oakland did some pilfering, you could say, from another team in their league. I'm talking, get this, Ryan Martin announced on Tuesday as the new head coach to lead the team into the 2026 USL Championship season. Martin, who was coaching Loudoun United this season, brings 7 years of USL head coaching experience, including a run to this year's Eastern Conference playoffs. His coaching journey included roles in MLS and USL as a scout coach and academy director with Toronto FC, Columbus Crew, FC Cincinnati, and DC United before becoming the head coach at Loudoun. So he'll take over as head coach following his 225 playoff run with Loudoun. Second longest tenured coach in the league, having led the Virginia side since 2019, where he helped develop young talent and build the club's foundational culture. And that's more indication that you'll see from Loudoun United's side. Very curious to know who they find as their head coach if they want to capitalize on this year's appearance in the playoffs, because otherwise you're risking star players leaving the club, the likes of Abukura, maybe the likes of Florian Velo, Hugo Farreau, goalkeeper Tommy McCabe, who's been tremendous, Zachary Ryan. I mean, it's going to be very interesting. Drew Skundrick. It's going to be very interesting, who will return as part of the Loudoun roster, or will they take their chances elsewhere? That's really, one of the big questions that I have for Loudoun United with Ryan Martin leaving the club. But Oakland Roots president Lindsay Behrens had said, following a diligent coaching search after the conclusion of the season, we're excited to have Ryan agree to take over ahead of the 2026 season. Ryan is someone who we feel matches our culture and ambitions on and off the field, and is someone who we believe can lead our club to tremendous success from day one. I think it's a very enticing project for Ryan Martin. I mean, maybe you can say, from his standpoint, I've taken Loudoun as far as I can go over these past couple years. Now it's time for me to do the same with another team who's really wants that playoff ambition, who has that playoff ambition, who's willing to make the investment to get there, right, that have gone under some tremendous overhaul this season from Oakland's side of things, right? Changes to the Coliseum, likes of Peter Wilson, who had a tremendous tail end of the season. I think if the season end, went on for another month or two, Oakland might have qualified for those playoffs. So a chance to ensure that next time around with a new project on the opposite side of the country. So congratulations to him. So who will then Loudon appoint as head coach? Time will tell, but we'll obviously cover this and more some as we build towards the 2026 season in March. I think just a note from my side as we look to cap it out, because I've already been talking and flapping my gums for nearly an hour as I take a lot of time covering the match as I can, from watching it as well. Just a big thank you. I think next year we're always trying to build more and more as we approach each season. I can't believe I've done 76 episodes so far. What I have noticed from my side, just in my, let's say, my cockpit of managing the podcast, is that I've received more downloads this year than past. So showcasing a little bit that consistency pays off. Consistency, that discipline aspect of things, right? Always releasing episodes for everyone to have, because podcasting is so much habitual when you come to finding a show that you like and listening to a show and making that part of your weekly routine. So just again, a big thank you. I think aspirations wise, I've already done the research when it comes to softwares out there that will allow me to bring good audio quality for video calls, because I would love to interview a little bit more of players from the league, get that aspect into things down the line in terms of aspirations. I think that's something that I can really provide value for you listeners out there, having the chance to just see who'd be interested from the league in terms of interviews and getting that underway. The challenge is that I'm not in the United States. I am 6 hours ahead of time, sometimes 9 hours ahead of time in Central Europe, working a full-time job and so forth. So finding that time on top of already keeping things consistent. Add the fact that we also have the FIFA World Cup coming to the United States next year. Something that's going to be very enticing, that'll be going on in the midst of a USL season. So I hope that it means more eyes on the USL. Although maybe a caveat is the fact that more people are paying attention to what's going on for those months in the tournament and not paying much attention to the USL. But the best thing is that we talked about this is that I think it's 7 or 8 USL sides will host teams of the FIFA National Tournament in their own backyards for training camps. So we'll find out who those teams are as, we're still underway with regards to who gets to qualify from the tournament. But I mean, what's great is we're always going to keep an eye out. We will talk, obviously, players from the USL that will be, or former USL players that made it to the national stage. I'm thinking Gerald Margarita for Curacao. Already we have, obviously, former Haiti internationals that could make it into their, I should not say former USL players who are Haiti internationals as well. So, these Central American teams making it to the tournament, representing from the Caribbean and so forth. So it's going to be great to see. But as always, thank you for listening. We will be back most likely in March, as I'll take a nice off season, enjoy the time, enjoy the festivities, enjoy the Christmas time and holiday season with your loved ones, as I certainly will. Enjoy the time off as well, that's for sure. But I love doing this, and we're going to keep it going for the next season, no doubt about it. But maybe I release an episode from now until then with regards to season previews, or if I'm feeling froggy, if there's been a lot of news going on in the league, I can just come on for a simple 15 to 30 minutes update. Time will tell. Most likely not, but you never know. Thanks again, everyone. I'm wishing you guys the best. And yeah, we will hear from each other, no doubt about it, soon. Thanks.